Hello all and welcome back to the channel. Here I will be telling my stories. Some will be creative and some will be real happenings. It's up to you to decide which you want to believe. Let's get started. Today's story is called Sister's Keeper Part 4. In the days that followed, the tension never seemed to relent. The shadows grew darker, the air colder. The woman and I were bound together by our shared experience, and we knew that the hidden world had left its mark on us. It was as if we had opened a door that was never meant to be opened, and now the darkness was seeping into every corner of our lives. The tapping at the window continued, a relentless reminder of the hidden world's presence. We could hear faint whispers carried by the wind, voices that seemed to echo from a place beyond our reality. The nightmares that haunted our dreams grew more vivid, more terrifying. We had sealed the rift, but it felt as though the hidden world had taken root within us. One evening, as I sat alone in my dimly lit room, I heard a soft rustling outside the window. The tapping had stopped, replaced by the sound of something scraping against the glass. My heart raced as I approached the window, my hand trembling as I reached for the curtain. What I saw froze me in place. It was the woman, her once pale skin now a sickly gray, her eyes empty and hollow. Her long black hair hung lank and tangled around her face. She pressed her fingers against the glass, her touch sending a shiver down my spine. "They're here," she whispered, her voice a chilling echo of what it used to be. "They're here to claim what's theirs." I stumbled back, my heart pounded. The woman's eyes bore into mine, and I could feel a malevolent force emanating from her. I wanted to run, to escape the horror that stood before me, but my body felt paralyzed by fear. Suddenly the air grew frigid, and the room seemed to darken even further. The woman's form began to distort, her body contorting in unnatural ways. Her voice grew louder, a cacophony of whispers that reverberated through the room. I could see figures moving in the shadows behind her, grotesque shapes that seemed to be reaching out for me. With a scream, I tore my gaze away from the window and bolted from the room. I could hear the woman's haunting laughter echoing behind me as I fled down the hallway. It felt as though the very walls were closing in, the hidden world's grip tightening around me. I burst out of the house, gasping for air as I stumbled into the night. The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the street. I could still hear the whispers, still feel the presence of the hidden world lurking nearby. There was no escape. As I ran through the empty streets, my mind raced with terror. The woman, the hidden world, the nightmares, they were all part of something bigger, something beyond my comprehension. And no matter how hard I tried to deny it, I knew that I was caught in its web. I couldn't go back home, couldn't face the horrors that awaited me there, so I kept running, my footsteps echoing in the silence. The world around me seemed to warp and twist, the boundaries of reality crumbling. It was as if the hidden world was seeping into everything, consuming all that I knew. And then, suddenly, I found myself standing at the edge of a cliff. The wind howled around me, and the void below seemed to beckon. It was a choice to stay and face the darkness that pursued me, or to leap into the unknown, to escape the horrors that had become my reality. As the whispers grew louder, the shadows closing in, I made my decision. With a deep breath, I stepped off the edge, plummeting into the darkness below. The wind rushed past me, and I felt a strange sense of peace wash over me. In that moment, I knew that I was leaving behind the nightmares and the hidden world that had haunted me. But as I fell, the darkness seemed to shift and twist, and I realized that there was no escape. The hidden world had claimed me, body and soul. And as I descended further into the abyss, I could hear the whispers growing louder, a chorus of voices that welcomed me into their eternal embrace. When suddenly, everything went black. The town would later speak of the person who had disappeared without a trace, of the eerie events that had transpired in those fateful days. They would say that the hidden world had claimed yet another victim, its hunger for souls insatiable. The whispers would linger in the air, carried by the wind, a reminder of the darkness that lurked just beyond the veil of reality. Be forever warned to beware the shadows and the whispers, for the hidden world waits, always watching, always hungry. It's a world of nightmares and forgotten terrors, a world that can consume even the bravest souls. And once you've glimpsed its horrors, you can never truly escape. Thank you for being here. That was all for today. If you liked this story or any of the stories, feel free to like, share, and or subscribe. See y'all in the next one.